please get to your neighbor, say hello, introduce yourself. Again, my name is Quan. I'll be your host for this afternoon. Welcome. Get comfortable.
Build it.
We'll be back with more
Well, you know,
in just a few moments.
Yeah, and all the installation. Who knows what's in the installation?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would love to welcome you to the front porch. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. I am. A little tired already, which does not bode well for Sunday afternoon, but that's okay. So I would love it if you'd join me in just a little activity that I like to do with my middle school students, and it's sort of an activity to help focus energy and kind of, I get agitated and excited and hyper really easily. So I have this little trick that I like to do, and this helps me focus and calm myself, and it's also really good for sort of reducing anger sensations, which if you've ever taught middle school, you'll understand are pretty frequent. So if you would with me, just briefly, take your finger and hold it up in front of you. And what I'd like you to do is imbue that finger with some magical powers, okay? And what this finger is now able to do is to transform into a flower, okay? And I want you to transform that finger into the flower of your choosing, your favorite flower, one that smells the most lovely to you or appears to be the most visibly appealing. But what I want you to do is I want you to blow all of the air in your lungs out. And then I want you to draw the scent of this flower in through your nose. So do it with me. Now very quickly, while you hold that breath, turn your thumb into a candle and blow that sucker out and blow all that air out of your body. I want you on your own time to do that 3 or 4 more times, okay? All the way in the scent of that flower. Blow out the candle. Don't hyperventilate. That doesn't actually help you so much. Okay, our next couple of fantastic human beings that I've had the pleasure to meet recently are Michael and Carol. And Michael and Carol are here to talk about a group called the Brotherhood of Eternal Love. And I'm going to read off the paper because I don't hold facts in my brain very well, okay? In the early 1960s, a group of family, friends, and surfers out of sleep in coastal Orange County formed a church centered around psychedelics. The group was known as the Brotherhood of Eternal Love, and their mission was to change the world. There's a movie that's been made about this experience called Orange Sunshine, and a book written called The Brotherhood of Eternal Love, a Psychedelic Guide. And this book will be for sale throughout the discussion and afterwards at a merch table right at the back here, okay? So, also, you will be back there to talk with people at the end. Are you going to have some Q&A at the end of this? Okay, fantastic. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Michael and Carol to the stage to talk with you today. Thank you, Michael, and thank you, Carol.
A long time ago, we discovered, can you hear me good? All right, a long time ago, we discovered LSD, along with a generation of people, and it made the usual changes. And Carol has a beautiful poem we thought we would start with.
You can hear me? The Brotherhood of Eternal Love. There are moments in time when a word, a thought, or a substance has such power that it changes history. We were there. We became a generation so involved in the moment that we became unstoppable. A spiritual awakening so profound that its very conception shatters preconceptions. It halted the world and made people from all nations take notice. It began with a sacred substance, the alchemy of LSD. We were chosen and forever grateful. Gifted with this sacrament, we became a new breed of people, a tribe, one united in peace, love, and brotherhood. Being overshadowed by the presence so profound, integrating in every cell, that the realization that it's all God, it's all love, and that we are all one congruent whole, one humanity. The movement started small but multiplied fast. It was a concept, a deep belief in the hearts of all who were there and those who wished they were. These pockets of anti-establishment individuals questions authority and their surroundings while searching for the real meaning of life and deeper truths. These communities of like-minded individuals and families of communal creativity focused on family, friends, poetry, art, all kinds of music, spiritual practices like yoga, meditation, health, alternative medicine, right action, demanding to be free from societal restrictions and restraints and hang-ups. The pureness of thought exploded. We were everywhere, and there were now millions of us. And out of this peace movement was born love-ins, be-ins, anti-war demonstrations were occurring everywhere. College campuses erupted, and thousands of people refusing the draft. This startled the government, to say the least, and the powers that be. The president was impeached, wars were stopped, and entire generations stood up and said, hell no. We are that generation. We are so blessed. We existed before they named us hippies. Social change was occurring and continued on multiple levels. And out of this orderly chaos came the free speech movement, free love movement, farm workers movement, organic farming, health food stores, juice bars, natural birthing processes, feeding were all brought back. Also helped fuel the women's movement, gay rights movements, environmental movements, civil rights movements, and the anti-war movements, and more movements. The message was clear. The world was uniting behind one principle and one thought, love, and its affirmations of peace, compassion, and brotherhood. We are that generation of young, free-thinking people. We were willing to stand up and be counted, and our willingness to be different. Who would have thought that we, brothers and sisters, stood for the truth of individual freedoms, like the freedom of expression, the freedom for individual to make a choice, spiritually, sexually, socially, our rights to be different and still belong, honor in refusing to fight without judging those who did, creativity, love, and respect for all things and all people, our right to think independently and to make a difference, our willingness to share this with others. Yes, we changed the world, and we can be humbly proud of that. And I am so grateful, as I know you are, to be part and parcel of this sacred movement. Thank you to all our lawyers and the powers that be, God, Christ, gurus, saints, sages, and all the alchemists who suffered and paid the price, all those who had the courage to manifest this dream, our vision. We will go down in history because we made a difference, to continue to this day to still make a difference. How blessed are we? How blessed are we?
we didn't outgrow it. You know, it was, our parents didn't get their wish. But, you know, through the use of psychedelics, we and a lot of people out here in this audience, I imagine, and people all around the world have had spiritual awakenings that changed their life. Wouldn't be the same person after that. You only need one really good acid trip to be a change forever type person. But I suggest doing it a lot more than once. You get better at it as you go. And it's a lot of fun, and everybody should keep taking it.
One dose and one with 5 doses?
We are a little worried. We made this little book up. Well, let's go back to the start. You know what? When we were young, we took LSD and we saw something that we didn't even really believe in before we took it. We were kind of a little bit outlaw, bad boys. The brothers were. Carol was kind of an innocent house. Was against all drugs, smoking weed, and we were doing various things. And then we bumped into LSD. That's a story on its own. So we have a movie called Orange Sunshine. You should see it. It will show you the real story. It's a documentary. It's on Amazon Prime, and on Netflix you can see The Sunshine Makers. It's the same word in both. It's kind of the prelude to us manufacturing as much as we do. All of it named Orange Sunshine. So we had a vision. We became like evangelists, except we had this way of transmitting a vision through little orange pill.
The first year he did it, I was like,
I mean, it works. It works real good.
Are you kidding me?
It changed all of our life. And Timothy Leary was around.
Pretty magical fairs.
At the time, being a spiritual focus for the use of LSD. Constantly, while he was suggesting people like drop out of society, constantly pointing the way to a spiritual path by the use of psychedelics. That was the strength that made the Summer of Love the Summer of Love. Summer of Love was the Summer of Love not because everybody just sort of started loving each other and whatever, it's because of psychedelics, namely LSD. This is rarely ever mentioned, and it is the seed beginning thing that caused the Summer of Love and the hippie revolution. People sure as hell weren't getting it on other types of drugs, although marijuana is a mild psychedelic. I didn't enjoy its use. It'll be 60 years since I've been smoking marijuana in this August. So we had
good years. No, it does.
We've come up with this book because we think there's a lot of young people and old people and people of all ages that could use a guidebook in terms of keeping you centered on the expectations of a spiritual experience that you're going to have when you take LSD, particularly LSD, the cleanest, purest psychedelic available. It is isolated from a mold on rye. It isn't made in a laboratory, it is isolated. Albert Hoffman didn't create it, he discovered that this is an organic thing, LSD is.
Yeah, it was definitely fun.
And so it's a good clean one too, because you can hardly see 100 micrograms that would give you a transformative, be a transformative dose, you can barely see it.
I couldn't believe what happened.
So we thought it was our message, our thing that we should do is to make and distribute as much LSD as we possibly could. And
I've known him for years. I wear his shirts.
We first formed the Brotherhood of Eternal Love. Carol's first husband, John Briggs, was a great inspiration to all who knew him, and a deeply spiritual man. I always thought he was far superior to Timothy Leary and his deep spiritual understanding. And he had a power about him. He passed away. But he was kind of the founder of the feast in a way. We held the same vision all this time and wound up making more LSD than anyone ever had. And real clean, real pure, had PhD chemists working for us eventually. But it started out a bunch of young visionaries.
It's a huge expense. So
And
he goes in, they take care of it.
people say, wow, it's amazing you guys weren't afraid.
He wants to get out.
We were afraid.
He'll get out.
Yeah, he's only in
We just did it anyway.
He was
And,
a set up by, probably the
and we did a damn good job. We're pretty smart, too.
I couldn't believe it. I've been like, I know for years.
But an important part is that when people started turning on, it also came with education. You know, it wasn't just here, go jive around.
Right,
you know. It was education. It was about having a spiritual trip and having a guide. You know, we used to take out people, and we'd take out a bunch of people, and then they all became guides. And their friends became guides, and you take them out, and you read them the psychedelic experience or the psychedelic guide, and it would, you know, take you through your universe of your body, basically, and spiral you, you know, and you can be out and re-entry, you know, that's real important. A lot of young people don't know that these day and age. I think it's all about moving and grooving to music, which is, that's groovy too, you know, but it's, you got to know what to do when the music stops, you know, and you're a little beyond yourself.
$1,000 a year for your medication.
Yeah, quietness and, you know, natural
Yeah, they won't let you
settings.
have it without background.
What we've always suggested, what's always been
Unless they had
suggested,
something
going and dancing to music is wonderful. Once you get your feet wet and you know what you're
And
doing,
he was growing all the time.
too many things can come up that might be confusing.
That's what I always thought.
It's not very confusing watching the waves.
He always had nice
on the
camera
beach.
choice.
It's not confusing. It puts you in harmony with nature.
Yeah.
So, as well as advocating the use of LSD, we advocate the conscious use of LSD. And so our little guidebook, we've been making it and getting it out to people.
I was kind of
So
that
tell
way
them
too.
about the generous donors.
I told everybody I
Through the
with the
donations
downsides,
of two generous people, my wife and
drive
I.
cars. Sorry.
And so we're selling some. We have to sell some here, but we try to give them away. So for every one we sell, we can make two and give those away. But it's a guide to kind of teach you it's kind of predictable what your consciousness goes through when you take acid. There are stages that you hit where you're coming on and you peak, and then you're really into it. You begin to come down to where you have to face the world again. And what you do and your focus during each stage of an acid trip or any kind of psychedelic trip is really important. So we try to add a little guidance
She got lucky.
this
She
for
got
our
into
book.
He went to women's state. They didn't have a private one.
In the 60s, we lived communally.
Yeah, he ended up in a cell for 2 or 3
Following
years.
this, the difference our commune was we were also
His saving grace is he's a
doing a lot of
MC rapper
illegal
guy.
things
So
besides
he's got cred right off the
making
bat.
LSD. A lot of it
From
was
the guys there.
financed by
Everybody
the
said
money that we
everybody
made
in
from smuggling
everybody
hash and
drugs, all the whole
marijuana.
prison was full of drug offenders. Because they don't
Founding
want
glue of the Brotherhood
the private
was
prisons don't
love,
take any violence.
and the brother and sister bonding that we all experienced when we lived together on
Said
a
it was like
ranch.
a weird
Timothy
frat house.
Leary and the people from Millbrook had been kind of run out
Not
of
enough money in
Millbrook
that world to-
by G. Gordon Liddy and came to live with us.
Jumping the border is one thing.
Those
driving it back
were good
east is
days.
another reality.
Those were good days. They weren't meant to be forever, but we think they are forever. They just
I
changed.
was one of the first
you
people in
know.
Oregon to get a growers.
My wife and I sitting here really don't feel too much different.
Like
I see young people here
a
that I
month of
hope
that
will
bill passes.
benefit from our experience and will bravely face the world that they face
Get out of jail
these
free
days.
list. The grow as much as I want to list.
I want to read a few passages. Timothy took old
No, the medical,
old spiritual
none of the states are, none of the three.
teachings that had been around a long, long time, and translated them more into a modern psychedelic language.
In theory, they
Being
could
the
harass.
Tibetan Book of the Dead and the Tao
They're not
Te Ching,
checking.
both of those. She used the Tibetan Book of the Dead as a model for psychedelic experience. Him and Richard Alpert and Ralph Metzger created this man who... The psychedelic prayers is based on Lao Tzu's Tao Te Ching, and both of those have been modernized. You know, I've read the Tao Te Ching so many times, and I really think that Timothy Leary's translation was my favorite. And it's not because
we were waiting for the election
he was a
cycle.
friend of mine.
I had everything, I had the
And,
greenhouses ordered and everything. And we just decided it's too iffy.
Timothy discovered
You know,
a
they busted a
powerful
bunch of people in
path
Colorado
of spiritual
2 weeks ago.
evolution and brought it to the attention of all who would
For
listen.
out of state traffic. Who knows?
Observe your body,
62 people.
mantle of the universe,
So it's a RICO.
of ancient
And the other
design,
things going on is that the states,
holy
Colorado
temple
is
of
suing
consciousness.
Colorado, and RICO.
Observe the message of the body.
So, you know,
And
we
Timothy
just
wrote
decided
in
we weren't gonna put $1 million
a
in something like this. And the taxes thing
forward to this
is
book,
weird.
Psychedelic
You
Prayer.
can't write off your expenses. and
The
you
Tao
tax
is
them.
best translated
we couldn't
as
do that.
energy in process,
Yeah, we can't.
energy in its pure,
They don't want to,
unstructured
they
state.
can't. So we just decided to stay just
in
now they're going to allow
Einstein's
the medical to
equation.
sell to the dispensary. We'll just stay
And
small.
energy in its
Wait it
countless
out.
temporary
Sure.
states of
They're
structure.
not going to
The
just
M
crap.
in Einstein's equation. Ancestor of all things, the 14 billion-year-old dance of energy endures beyond life. LSD puts one in contact with the molecular and elemental energies that crackle and vibrate within the cellular structure. Each cell in our bodies is a network of energy connections as complex as New York City. It has been proven that all matter throughout the universe is energy. Solid matter is an illusion. We are all connected to all that is. The energy of the 13 billion cell cerebral computer is in contact with the entire universe, and when well lit by the use of psychedelics, ancient knowledge can be contacted. Timothy admitted after he was released from Harvard, fired from Harvard, that expecting Harvard University to provide resources for research in psychedelic drugs was like expecting the Vatican to provide research for aphrodisiacs. We have lots of time. Who has a
This
phone?
is from the psychedelic experience, and it takes you. We took a friend of ours who had just passed, and took him on this voyage out of his body into different bardos. And this one struck me as so beautiful. It's called, well, it's not called anything. It's First Bardo Instructions. It's, "O nobly born, the time has come for you to seek new levels of reality. Your ego and your name game are about to cease. You are about to set face to face with the clear light. You are about to experience it in its reality, in the ego-free state wherein all beings are like the void and cloudless sky, and the naked, spotless intellect is like a transparent vacuum. At this moment, know yourself and abide in this state.
How many people have taken LSD here in the audience? All right. How many people have taken it within the last year? Oh, I love that. That's good. That's good. Yeah. My wife and I, we still take it, and it's part of our journey. You never stop learning. If the path is about the infinite, then there's no end to the path by the nature of it. So we might as well have fun.
I was wondering how many people here knew who Timothy Leary was when he mentions. Oh, good. Because Susan Sarandon, she was in the at Burning Man, and she was carrying some of his ashes into the temple, and people were following her, and they were asking her who Timothy Leary was, and she said she was shocked that people were inside the temple high on LSD and didn't know who he was. And she said, shame on you, you need to do your homework.
So how many people know who Osley is? Oh, good. Yesterday I was just sitting around reading this book, wondering what I was going to do. We kind of thought we were going to show our movie and then do a question and answer. And then, so we realized, like, that's not what we're doing. So we're just ad-libbing this whole thing. I think you can tell. But two people I started conversations with, both of which never heard of who Osley was, which surprised me. I know we're getting older, but they've
History
seen
is
it.
history.
Yeah, they were around for part of it. One of the things is that the city of Richmond is trying to find the property that was the location where Osley made, and Tim Scully with him made LSD. And it looks like it's been turned down, but the city of Richmond wanted to put a historical bronze plaque on the place that Osley was from. Yes.
I think that he made it in bus.
He what?
I think he made it in Silver Bear's bus.
I can't hear.
Oh, in Silver Bear's bus? Oh, they had a location though.
Oh no, they did it in a few places.
Also, yeah, they did it a few places, but they're talking about this one location there.
They did it in Richmond also.
Yeah.
And
Richmond wants credit now.
with Osley. And Nick Sand died recently. It was Nick Sand who she was talking about when we were reading the Tibetan Book of the Dead on the day he was being cremated. And is there something you wanted to add?
I didn't hear who you said Osley was. I didn't hear who you said Osley was.
Oh, more information about Osley?
Where he is?
No, who he
Oh,
was.
who he
Oh,
is.
who he is? Oh, God. Osley was the first person that made LSD kind of besides regular laboratories. You know, Sandoz and Coca-Cola both made LSD. It was discovered by a chemist that worked for Sandoz, Albert Hoffman. And Osley was the first person to make LSD that was like not made by an official chemistry or a chemical company. Yeah, he did the sound work for the Grateful Dead. He financed the Grateful Dead. He was a great pioneer. And he worked with Tim Scully, who was a brilliant young kid from Berkeley. And they created, in the lab in Richmond, created a large amount of acid. And then Osley got in trouble and sort of splintered off. Tim Scully has a complete history of everything that ever happened. He's like an encyclopedia for information like what you're asking about. And then got together with Nick Sand and started making acid in their own place in Windsor. And they contacted the Brotherhood, which was Carol's first husband, John Griggs, and I came up and we met with them and we became their distributors rather than going through the Hells Angels, which they had been doing. Ron Doss, Richard Alpert, said that they should turned them on to the Brotherhood. This is information. There's two movies, one called The Sunshine Makers and one called Orange Sunshine, that really kind of covers this interesting bit of history, especially about psychedelic history. It's starting to be popular. We've come out of the shadows, and Carol and I, since 2011, we were in the cannabis cup, the high priest and the high priestess of the cannabis cup. And that's when we first stopped hiding. We were on the run for a long time, 12 years on the run, and we've lived underground most of the time of our life. So now now we're stepping out and telling our story. Telling our story. In the Timothy Wright, well, in the I don't know if this is a translation of Lao Tzu or just Timothy's own. The lesson of Tao is found among gardeners, hermits, cooks, loafers, amateur musicians, children, wanderers who sit by the fire, those who watch the sunset, couples who have been in love for years, and smiling men with bad reputations. Please remember always, for God's sakes, feel good, and nature's order will prevail. So we have plenty of time here, so anybody that has a question, let's hear it. Speak as loud as you can, please. I don't know, I suppose, yeah, we did a lot of things. We changed the way acid is made, and what we did in Orange Sunshine, we purified it through chromatographic columns. One of our chemists was named Lester Friedman, who I wouldn't mention his name except he's dead. He was nominated for a Nobel Prize in chemistry. He didn't get the Nobel Prize. Being nominated is a big honor, and was head of a chemistry department at a major university. And so we developed new methods. Even there's plenty of different creative ways to use different means to get the same result in chemistry. But we had really sophisticated laboratories with high pressure liquid chromatographs to test for purity and everything. We did our separation in chromatographic columns. We got a lower return, but we got more pure. Our acid was more pure, and we made the doses a little stronger than I would suggest. The last ones that we made were 350 micrograms, and they were scaring people right into Buddhist temples for the rest of their life. Yeah, no, it's not about. That's about the worst thing, It's like that's one of the side effects, extreme Buddhism or something. Yeah. Anybody curious about anything here? I mean, we can read poetry to you too, Yeah. I like that idea. It started out at 300. The dosage in the old. There's no more Orange Sunshine now. Huh? Well, there's
old timers with a
few old timers that have squirreled some away. I'll get to your question. One of the things we did, Orange Sunshine, was orange because it was the color of Buddhist robes, and because it protected it from light, which is the worst enemy of LSD. It's a very unstable molecule, and if it gets in the light, it will go bad fast. And so that protected it, and we put a little bit of vitamin C, ascorbic acid, in it. and we used milk lactate, basically like milk sugar, and dissolved it all in high content vodka, and made it. It was all made on a Triterate machine, which is a wet tabbing machine. And our first ones were 300, and then we went to 350. And we're trying to confuse the feds a little bit, and we did some blue doses and some other things but it was all on the same tabbing machine, so it wouldn't fool anybody. So, but did that answer your question? What did you want to ask? He's got his hand up over there.
Okay, I'll be right over to you then, gentlemen.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. He's doing his work.
I was just wondering if Hoffman knew what he was doing or if it was an accident.
It was not an accident. And this guy is one of the most brilliant chemists in the world, and he wasn't just looking for a way to clean the bathtub and ran into acid. He was looking for a psychoactive substance within a certain range of parameters that I'm sure it even surprised him. We met with Albert Hoffman. He endorsed our endeavors, gave us a few lab tips, and he took LSD till the very end of his life, which was 105 years or something. I don't know. He was real old. He lived to be well over 100. Was an acid head the entire time. Yes.
They were searching, weren't they searching Pitocin for, it's what keeps women from going into labor, so that's what they were playing around with, but then his little fingers,
Well, they also knew the other effects.
Mm-hmm.
It, like the things that you make, there's a few compounds you can make LSD out of it, but they all have to do with birthing and either preventing labor or stimulating labor, and some for bleeding, I think. The best use of all is making acid out of it and turning on the world. That's what you need to do. When we were done, we had made well over 120 million doses. So our effect on the world was profound. We are definitely proud of that. We hold the record still. Hopefully not for long. Hopefully some kids will come up. Okay.
How does the experience of acid differ from mushroom?
It's kind of almost the same, but it's stronger. Acid is intense. It doesn't have with it any toxins, and mushrooms have a lot of toxins. So does mescaline, peyote. I love them both. I still eat mushrooms.
What are the effects of toxins? I mean, how does that?
What?
How does that factor experientially?
What?
Those toxins.
The toxins. Well, you only like you can get higher on acid with less toxins than you can to get that high on mescaline. Now you're taking quite a few toxins. Those toxins might bother you a little the following day. They might make you throw up or to go through some physical symptoms, none of which are all that terrible. There is such a thing, I think, as overdosing on psilocybin type compounds as well as mescaline. The LD50 and mescaline, pure crystal mescaline, is something like 2.5 grams, which I have damn near taken that much. I didn't realize that. LD50 is lethal dose half the time. And but there is none for LSD. LSD is clean. You cannot take acid and it will not kill you. I know the feds claim that from a long time ago, the stupid claim about they gave some poor old elephant 2 grams of LSD, which is like a huge amount of acid for an elephant's small brain relative to the size of the body. And they say it killed the elephant, but I don't believe that's true. And if it did kill it, the elephant was in heaven before it hit the ground for sure. But there's just no toxicity there. That's why it's good. The side effects are extreme paranoia, irrational behavior, and insanity on the part of the police and other people who have never taken it.
So in the past year or so, I've seen some media coverage of the practice of microdosing. I guess that's become something that's popular again. I was wondering your thoughts about the use of small doses of acid as a productivity aid in sort of technology.
I think it's wonderful. You should do it. It can be a it can be an aid of productivity in the fun industry too. You're just going to love it. Do it, do it, do it. It's like take 10 to 20. It's a lot of times microdoses are in liquid drops. Some rumor has it, and so each drop is somewhere around 10 micrograms. Take a drop, and then you'll see, and then take another one. You'll see. It's a wonderful way to introduce a whole broader range of the population to the wonders of psychedelic substances without scaring the shit out of them the first time they take it, which was what we were doing. Sometimes in the 60s, we made it stronger. If I had it to relive, I wouldn't make those doses as strong as that. I would leave them at 150 or something. We thought microdosing was 150 micrograms. It's like a disco, what we called a disco dose. But yeah, I think microdosing is really, really good. I don't think there's anything you can do with LSD that isn't really, really good.
No, it unlocks the creative process, it just does. It's just a key. And I think it's better, when a lot of times you can leave people wanting more. That's, instead of scaring them, leave them wanting more next time.
I have a sad story to tell on a question, which is that when I was 13 in 1968, I got from a friend, another 13-year-old, tablets of orange sunshine, and I was instructed by my friend to take a quarter of a tablet and try it out. And it was a beautiful spring morning when I had my first LSD experience. I was sitting by a beautiful creek in the high desert in Southern California. Just a spectacular day. And I was a very depressed child, and I was going down a very dark road. And it was the first experience in my life where I felt the sacred, and I experienced life as being unqualifiedly beautiful. So that was a tremendous breakthrough for me, an essential breakthrough, what I needed. And then I went home I took this camping trip with my mother and my brother, and I came home and took my clothes off, and went about my business, and I went to retrieve my pants where I had a little piece of tin foil with the remaining tablet and 3/4. My mother thrown it in the washing machine. So I've had plenty of LSD and other hallucinogenic.
That must be your dose.
You had me worried about the sad part. I kept waiting for it.
The sad part was I got it and it went down to the washing machine.
Yeah. Oh, you can handle that. I was afraid your dog died or something.
No, but it was very disappointing to a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Miracle of life.
Yeah.
What? Mothers are always coming in and getting your damn laundry,
Washing your stuff when it's not even dirty, for God's sake.
I'm always in trouble for that.
So I have a question which arose out of that experience. My experience at that time was that my body felt really good. I didn't feel really energized. I didn't feel I felt energized and I felt full of life. And the excitement of fully living that day. But I didn't have any body sensations that were at all negative. But in recent years in my LSD experiences, I've had this kind of tension in my stomach. And I was just wondering if maybe something's changed with the chemistry that's, what's available now, or
I hear there's a lot of nice stuff out there. I
Yeah,
really
there
do.
is.
There really is. You know, sit quiet with that grip. You know,
Yeah,
go
I-
self-inquiry, because it
Yeah.
usually will let go of itself. It's
It does go away. It does go away.
Yeah, it might be. You know, there's so many things to an acid experience, most of which is psychic. You know, I mean, not that you're making things up, but there are a lot of differences in experiences can be like what you ate the day before, how hot is it, and what happened, and who you're with, and whatever little changes. Once you get chemically, scientifically to LSD 25, there you have the sacred molecule. And if you're there, you're there, and if you're not, you're kind of not all the way there. So I do know that if you don't get it clean and white and beautiful, that the iso part of it that is there can start to block and alter the effect of the pure acid that's there. So that is why we made sure that Orange Sunshine was as pure as it could possibly be, which is 99.999 pure. And that's why there's some that's still around that's really good. I had to go to prison for a while, and my brave wife made sure that I could take acid every Sunday in prison. I had almost 200 acid drips in prison, and some of them were Orange Sunshine. And we were thinking, oh, God damn, I wonder if these things are strong. We took them and thought, they got stronger. How did they get that? It was like real strong. A lot of it was, I mentioned that we had used red dye number 3, yellow dye number 6, or red dye number 6, yellow dye number 3, to make this orange color, because Tim Scully had done some crazy research that Tim's known for and found that it protects it against the rays of the sun. And it was the Buddhist robe. You know, we like that both. It so happened to also be the color of the Buddhist robes. And they added a little tiny pinch of ascorbic acid, pure vitamin C. Keep it out of the light, lasts a long time. Take your vitamins. You gotta have them vitamins, you know, and for a long and prosperous, healthy life.
Optimal storage condition.
Huh?
Optimal storage condition.
Well,
There you go.
out optimal storage condition. Depends on what form it's in. Blotters are really bad because paper is really, if you ever see paper, blotters are good if you're going to take it right away.
temporary.
That's just fine. Blotters, there's plenty of good acid you find on blotters, but you can't hold on to those for a real long time and expect them to hold up like other forms will. And if you ever see paper under, and especially blotter paper, because it has to be absorbent, so it is like under a microscope, it is like these fibers, and every one of those fibers is another way for it to be exposed to the air, which isn't good, and to any kind of light.
It oxidizes in the light.
It will oxidize it quick in blotter form. So blotters, if it's just been made, and it's pretty good. But for longer storage, there's a lot of people that keep it in liquid, and the liquid should be distilled water and alcohol. And out of the light and in the refrigerator is nice.
For longevity.
It'll last for a really long time if you do that. And if it's good to start with, you know. There's a lot of good stuff around from what we understand. So man, just take it. Be careful though.
Yeah. So I am extremely grateful for the journeys I did on Orange Sunshine. I probably wouldn't be who I am today. Yeah. I mean, I did a lot of other acid, but there were some really trips that were really especially induced. But my comment, question is, in recent years, I kind of have developed a bit of an attitude about LSD relevant to organic substances. But some of the things you said earlier about it actually coming in from an organic substance. But is that Is it like brought from the organic into the chemical?
Yes, it's organic chemistry. It's isolating an active ingredient. And they, like the rye, that you get this mold on rye has caused St. Elmo's fire, back in history where the town ate the rye bread, everybody got weird. Well, and so that's the same thing, minus all of the toxins that go along with it when it's a mold.
So, because my rap is I've moved mostly to ayahuasca now.
Uh-huh.
And I feel in ayahuasca, I can really feel a Davic entity, a vegetable Davic spirit entity in that medicine, and I can feel it in peyote, mescalito. But I don't feel that kind of an entity in the LSD. And in fact, some of the most special LSD trips I did, or I did it with some peyote tea or some mushrooms.
I used to like to mix them too,
And it was like because definitely LSD is the strongest, the quickest.
Yeah.
And it would sort of, but that Davic entity, spirit of the mushroom or of the peyote would sort of take that, what to my mind previously was a raw chemical in it, and make it into a really intense peyote trip, a really intense mushroom trip.
Yeah. Well, follow your feelings is my suggestion. Because I don't think there's any really roadmap for everybody. But
We love it all.
I think that we like it all. But I think that for me, I mean, LSD has provided me with the inspiration that no other substance on earth has provided me with. So I'm going to go with that. And it's a good way to be able to get it out to like a lot of people. And but that's the least of it. It's how good it is. In my opinion, it just has worked for me. And like if 100 micrograms of LSD is crystal LSD is very hard to see with the human eye. It's like real small. So that's my point about toxins that I think is well taken. Very powerful stuff. And I follow your heart, brother. And go where everything leads you.
Right. No rights and wrongs.
No, yeah, right. No, Orange Sunshine started from ergotamine tartrate. ET, it's called. But ergotamine tartrate, And there's other ergotamines, there's different things.
I'd like to speak to your statement. The reason why you are that entity, instead of experiencing you are on LSD. So that's my thoughts on it.
We're all spiritual beings, everything that this world is made of is basically an illusion, and we're like the illusion of the illusion. It's like looking at the reflection of the moon in a pond. It's just an illusion, yet you can see it. There it is right in front of you, but is it real? But then of course then you have to wonder what real means. Psychedelics are good for the neurological system. I've decided to label myself as a cheerleader for neurological evolution. Our time is about to run out, I guess. About 5 more minutes. Who has it? Somebody have a question?
Right here.
Okay.
Yeah, I would just want to recommend there's a really good book that teaches people how to, let's say, trip with like intention. It's called Psychedelic Explorer's Guide by James Fadiman, and it's helped me a lot in planning my trips and having intentions and kind of like what types of music to use and how to use it, and it's great. I would highly recommend that.
Cool. Say it again.
It's Psychedelic Explorer's Guide by James Fadiman.
Good. anything that's a guide, you know, that's what the 60s had that right now is lacking. The 60s, first of all, LSD came upon the scene, but it came upon the scene with what other drug that has ever come along with PhDs from Harvard and other people are talking about how wonderful it is. This isn't some street drug. This came right out of the universities and the research laboratories. And so there was guidance, and these things are thought of, are forgotten. But like Carol was saying, people don't even sometimes know who Timothy Leary is. And not that Timothy Leary was some great saint. He was a man that was filled with flaws, just like I like my holy man, you know. I would like him to have a few wrinkles and a few food stains if possible. And Timothy had those. Yeah, but he was a great inspiration. He was a brave man, too, to do what he did. He could have been living a cushy life at Harvard as a Harvard professor, but he chose the wild side. Timothy left a note behind in his prison cell to the guards when he escaped. We engineered that too. That's another one of the Brotherhood accomplishments. We did a jailbreak, prison break. And Timothy's note read as follows. Don't forget he was Irish Catholic rebel. It said, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost, Ave Maria. Prison guards, listen. To cage a living creature is a sin against God. Listen, guards, to the ancient truth. He who enslaves is himself enslaved. The future belongs to the blacks and the browns and the young and the wild and the free. We'll answer all the questions.
I know there's a number of different kinds of ergotamine out there. I was wondering if the different kinds of ergotamine come through in different, that they express themselves in different ways, different kinds of acid, like one's more this, one's more that.
That's a real good question. You know, I am not sure, you know, when you get to lysergic acid diethylamine number 25, it's, I think it's all the same. But it's, maybe there's some, it would be so minuscule. My direct gut answer would be no. I don't think there could be any difference in it. I just don't think there could be.
I mean, pure LSD is just pure LSD.
Yeah.
When you get it to that point, you know.
No matter how you get it to that point. One of the things of working with Lester Friedman, he saw like the molecule. He saw past the illusion of the world into the way the energies of molecules work, and was able to come up with these brilliant things. I remember we were crystallizing acid in a big, huge vessel, and at the very end, when the liquor is very, very, very pure and clean, and you add some water to it, and the whole vessel would go off at once, and it rang the vessel. It was so pure. It went ping and all crystallized at once. And then you take that and you go through ether washes and running it through chromatographic columns. We made exactly pure LSD. We were dedicated to it. And the people that are making, the thing about people that are making LSD now, and the people that I don't know, I know a few people kind of indirectly, but people that generally that are making LSD, these aren't criminals. These aren't weird people. If you try to make this in a laboratory, you're going to get touched by it, and you're going to have a full-blown trip. So that just eliminates all the mob and all that other kind of weird negative energy, and leaves you with people who are dedicated spiritually to what they're doing. And so they're all damn good people. I know people that are Buddhist and everything that really believe in what they're doing, and that's why they do it, and that's why they do it with pride, and that's why they try to make it the very best it's ever been. But we set a high standard back then. You can't get better than perfect. But we can keep trying.
Michael, Carol, I'm really sorry to do this. I don't want to do this because I find this absolutely fascinating. Ladies and gentlemen, would you join me in just thanking them for being here and sharing this history?
Thank you for being here.
And will you two be available over here to...
We'll talk to anybody that wants to talk, sitting over here.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to set up. We've got about half an